everybody. I've been sick lately, so I am not doing a full video. Instead, I'm going to take you down a rabbit hole. I've decided to quit masking the fact that I'm neurodivergent and bring you down the rabbit hole with me. And the rabbit hole is why I love Buster Keaton movies. So I discovered these movies only very recently. I had no idea they existed. I thought they'd been lost. I had no idea they were feature films. So that was really exciting. I love This Is a Wonderful Bit. He thinks he's got rid of the locomotive. His unflappability. And this one's a brilliant example of it. He thinks he's got rid of the train car in front of him. He thinks it's gone. He thinks it's gone. He's not looking. And then his reaction is so perfect but so unflappable. It's unflappable. And that's what makes him so interesting, is alien. Not alien, modern. Incredibly modern. He's a person who can make a joke out of trying on hats by doing nothing except what everyone does when you try on a hat, is try them on. It is remarkable. He really stands out from his contemporaries in terms of the silent era because he doesn't mug. He doesn't smile, but he's still incredibly expressive. It's a level of expression that you don't see in the others. You don't see in anyone. But he's just doing what you do when you try on a hat, which makes it so much fun. Knows very well it's not going to work for him. But it's the calm center that makes him so interesting, and how much character he can put it. He also loved animals. You see that when you watch his movies. And this is one of the shorts. Is the way he loved animals, the way especially dogs. He had dogs most of his life, or all of his adult life, definitely. Had a big St. Bernard that lived on the MGM lot, but his second wife took it. This one is great. I love the way he subverts toxic masculinity and all the tropes. He has loads and loads of tropes. His films are about are often satirizing other film tropes. So here we have westerns, and how's he going to get out of this? How's he get out of this? By making it impossible for the other man to pull his trigger. And then by pulling out his tiny, tiny pistol. He also never asks for your sympathy. Never, ever, ever does he ask for your sympathy, which is very different to Chaplin. Chaplin asks for your sympathy. And I watched Chaplin, and Chaplin's funny, but it's like why I don't like Disney films, because it asks for it, it demands it, it manipulates it out of you, and I hate that. I resent being made to feel. What I like is being made, not being made to feel, but feeling because it's a reaction to what's happening on screen, not because the music did this or the person was in a particularly manipulative state. I like to feel because it's a reaction. Now, this is one of the finest things, is Buster running. Buster running is just one of the funniest things when he runs full ball. And I don't think there's a funnier scene than Buster running dressed as a devil chased by steers. It's just, how can you go wrong with that as a prospect? It's just impossibly, stupidly funny. This one's a great one. Things become other things in his comedy. So here the wood cart becomes a boat and a shovel becomes a paddle once you're in the river. Nothing is just what it is without the potential of becoming something else to make the comedy work. And now this is the other great thing. Buster running and Buster being chased by a great number of people is a great one. But also how stupid he makes authority figures look. It's not just that he's running or being chased. It's that he makes the authority figures, especially the cops, look stupid. He's running, but he's not panicked. He's just like, yeah, and then the cops are panicked, which makes it, he's just annoyed. He's just like, get off my tail. And they're the ones who end up looking stupid at the end of it. He's always just trying to get out of the problem, that the chaos that's erupted around him, generally speaking. In this case, attempting to walk the cows to the market, but it not quite going exactly where he expected. But it's not punching down. And this is from the General. This is, you wanted to make Buster smile? Tell him you like the General. That was how you made him smile. He loved to hear that. It was his favourite film of his, and it didn't get the great critical response that it should have got. It's a brilliant piece of filmmaking, but the comedies can be quite dark. People didn't get the idea that this could be funny. We of course do. We live in a world where you watch The Producers, where we make fun of Hitler. You know, I mean, we go dark. As part of the reason he's so modern feeling is he does go dark. And this, of course, is, you can't really talk about Buster without including this. This is like the most famous thing. If you know anything about him, you know this is the one where there's the movie where the building falls on him. Of course, watch it out of context and it's like impressive. Watch it within the context of the entire film, and it's even more impressive. In fact, there's currently an insurance ad that uses this, but I can guarantee they CGI'd it. They didn't have their actor standing while a 2-ton prop fell down around them. It could have killed them. He was incredibly brave. I love the way he uses the camera, which is another thing that's different to Chaplin. The gag occurs in the camera. He also went and put a train into the river. He could have used a model. He didn't. He put a train in the river. As spectacular. Absolutely spectacular. And we can see here he uses models. This is actually on his set. It's actually a set. The waterfall, so he's not actually nearly as high as it makes it look when you cut to there, because they'd put a miniature in to give it the height and the scale. So he was a real filmmaker. When you watch a Chaplin, you realise what he's done is essentially a stage performance that's filmed. Sort of like why Olivier's films are so bloody boring. But Keaton was a filmmaker. He knew how to cut things together to make them look right. He knew how to use camera tricks to make things look right. This is another great camera trick. It looks fantastically, absolutely fantastically dangerous. He is actually riding that motorcycle, but he'd learned to control it while sitting on the handlebars. It's fantastically dangerous looking, but he used camera tricks, and again we've got double exposures. This is possibly the most meta thing that I've ever seen. I saw it and it's like, wow, this is 1924. 1924, are you kidding me? How is this 1924? What he does here is just I didn't think anyone had done anything like this until you get post-World War II, till you get to postmodern film. This is just beyond what I thought you could do. In fact, he said that all the cameramen came to see this film because they wanted to work out how on earth he did that. But it's the most meta film I've ever seen, and certainly the most meta film I've ever seen from this period. He uses dreams a lot to tell his stories. In The Frozen North, the whole thing, the punchline of the whole thing is it's a dream, because it's a really strange thing. But he's satirizing another filmmaker, because the character he plays is so different, such an anomaly to his usual characters, they're usually quite sweet and quite innocent. They're generally hardworking people who are trying to just, make it, in spite of the fact that chaos absolutely erupts around them, sometimes of their own making. But it's not. I really do admire the fact that he doesn't go for sentiment, and that he can do he was able to do such clever things. It makes what happened to him once the talking films came, or more so once MGM got a hold of him, it makes it so terribly, terribly sad, because he did not deserve what happened to him as a performer and as a filmmaker, and because he pretty much disappeared. He was an incredibly hard-working person. It wasn't as if he wasn't going to make films. He was. He wanted to, but they wouldn't let him make the films he wanted to make, which is incredibly sad. It's incredibly sad. I'm actually amazed we have these. I think he's amazed we had them. Because they were really at risk of being lost. Completely lost. So this is a very long sequence, but the editing gives an idea of just how good he was at that. How good he was compared to when you compare him. And finally, this little bit is because underneath that baggy suit, he was a damned fine-looking man. And that should not be underestimated. Orson Welles said he had the most beautiful face ever photographed, and he did too, but he also had the body of a gymnast, which you see on occasions when he wears a swimsuit. And that's why I love Buster. Bye. If you would like to support this channel, come across to the Black Cockie Press website, www.blackcockiepress.com.au, where you will find books and other writing services to help with your writing.